What's up, everybody? Welcome to Heresy Financial. My name is Joe Brown, and today we are taking a look at some of the strength that the gold markets have been showing recently, especially over the last couple of months. And we're going to be taking a look at the reason why some of this strength has been showing up despite certain players in the gold industry not being too happy about it. Ready? Let's dive in. Since just before April, we've seen gold kind of perform a stealth rally here. We were just under $1,700 an ounce back right at the beginning of April, slightly before, and now we closed this week at above $1,900 an ounce. Now, as always, there are multiple reasons for anything taking place in a market, and most likely some of these things are just going to be prescribed after the fact by people like me who try and find reasons why markets move. But that doesn't mean there aren't some significant things that we can look at here. And number one, we can see what's happening with the bullion banks right now. Surprisingly, their net shorts have actually moved back up despite the recent rally in the gold price. So this is actually surprising to me. This means that the recent rally in the gold price is not due to bullion banks closing out their shorts. Instead, it looks like there's been an attempt for some price suppression as the active June contract is running off the board. Now, this could potentially put the bullion banks in even more of a tough spot simply because of the Basel III rules that are most likely going to come into place at the end of June, again, as long as they don't get delayed again. But if these rules do go into place, it means that there will be players eliminated from the swaps category, which decreases the liquidity in the paper gold market. Not a good sign for anybody who's short a bunch of paper. So if it wasn't them, then who's another big player driving up the price of gold right now? You guessed it, it is China. Massive flows of gold coming from Switzerland to China have just been reported by Reuters on Thursday. In fact, in April, it was the highest amount of gold imported into China from Switzerland since December of 2019. During 2020, they obviously had a slump in gold demand as people prioritized buying other things. But it looks like that demand has almost fully rebounded now, as the Swiss customs data shows 40.2 tons of gold, which is about $2.5 billion worth, being exported to China. And just to put that into perspective, that's more gold than was sent to China for the previous 14 months combined. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, this is just Switzerland, no big deal, right? Well, Switzerland is actually the world's largest gold refining center and transit hub, which means that when you look at the numbers coming out of Switzerland, it provides at least somewhat of a meaningful signal on what's happening in the gold market. Now, if you don't remember, in April, the People's Bank of China, the PBOC, their central bank, they actually opened the floodgates and granted permission to commercial banks to start importing large amounts of gold. And so it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that the beginning of April marked the bottom of that gold sell-off, and we've been rebounding ever since as demand from China has really picked back up again. But they're not the only big gold buyer in the world, and India, in fact, is the second largest gold buyer. And in March, India imported a record 86 tons from Switzerland, and in April, another 56 tons. In summary, there are massive moves going on in the world right now with the gold markets, and many people all around the world are getting their hands on gold as fast as they can. And the financial habits of people in the West are not indicative of most people in most countries for most of human history. You might not even know where to get gold. If you wanted to go buy gold today, you might not even know where to go apart from walking down to a local pawn shop. But that doesn't mean that most people around the world, especially through most of human history, haven't stored their wealth in gold. Especially in this day and age when a government or a central bank can just decide by their own discretion to confiscate purchasing power from the currency that it makes everybody in their country use, confiscate some of that and assign it to others or themselves. It's becoming more and more imperative to store your wealth in vehicles that governments cannot access, cannot confiscate, cannot steal through the power of the printing press. And if I did describe you earlier and you have no idea where to buy gold, even if you wanted to, I highly encourage you to check out my ultimate guide on how to buy gold, whether you want to purchase it and store it physically in your own home, whether you want to store it in another country, whether you want to purchase it in your IRA to avoid any taxable consequences, or whether you want to purchase it in a brokerage account simply because you like the ease of paper gold or digital exposure to the price of gold. I cover everything you need to know in my guide, and again, it's linked in the description below. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.